Lexus could be bringing back the ISF in a strange way this year. Also, a new small compact Lexus could be on the horizon. We had a lot of Lexus news. Let's tackle the first thing. Lexus bringing out in Japan an ISF new model, and it's not what you would be expecting. When I first read this, I got super excited. Like, a new ISF, could this be happening? Could it be coming? Well, it doesn't mean it's not coming, but not in this generation IS, I don't think so. Remember, the ISF was from 2007 to 2014. We haven't seen it since, so again, what is that, 8 years, 9 years or so since we've seen the ISF. But this is what it sounds like. Now, keep in mind, this is translated from Japanese. It looks like in Japan, they're taking the IS 500 F Sport Performance and pretty much turning that into a full-blown F car, except that they're not giving it the Torsen torque vectoring limited slip like you see in the RCF, for example. They're not going to be giving it larger brakes other than the IS 500 F Sport Performance brakes. And it is going to be, in theory, if it comes out, it'll be getting a carbon fiber hood with a bulge. Got to have the bulge with a vent as well. And you're going to be giving carbon fiber ground effects around the vehicle and potentially larger intakes. They're saying the roof would also be made from carbon fiber. Now, if we saw this come stateside, it wouldn't be called the ISF, I don't believe. I think they would just call it some sort of special edition carbon, maybe the IS 500 F Sport Performance Carbon Edition, right? It's the longest name ever, but it's just no added performance compared to what we have already with the IS 500 FSP. It is keeping the same engine. That's probably the biggest thing. 5-liter V8, long live the V8, right? But this isn't really anything different than we already get. Japan doesn't have the IS 500 F Sport Performance yet, so they might just introduce it into Japan. They're saying October 2022. That doesn't mean we won't see this car. It just won't be called the ISF, I don't think. And man, could you imagine how expensive this would be with all these carbon fiber bits to it? 80 grand, would be my guess. Maybe more, 90 grand. Probably it would be fetching the same prices as the RCF, but this thing would probably have a higher take rate. Anyways, we have more news. What do you think about the ISF coming back, possibly in Japan, as their version of the IS 500 F Sport Performance a lot of carbon? But this is a lot of fun to talk about. This little vehicle could be the next Lexus all-new model. Now, we have the RZ, that's an all-new model, right? Fully electric vehicle that will be out by the end of the year in most parts of the world. But there is a big market that Lexus has been missing out on ever since the CT has kind of been canceled. I know the CT was very small, but it was a C platform vehicle, but it was more like a B segment vehicle. The UX is kind of on the cusp of a B segment vehicle. We'll talk about how that is in a second. But they could also offer this vehicle, which looks from the side profile a lot like, let's say, the Nissan Kicks, for example, especially with this C pillar and D pillar back here. The front end, though, takes a lot from the upcoming RX 500H, the S Sport Performance model. They're saying that the spindle grille is more of this shape. And I'm okay with that because I think the front end of the new, that's all we know at this point, the front end of the new RX looks really solid. And the F Sport grille not only looks good, but the evolution of the spindle grille kind of molding it into the body. And the next RX is kind of 1 foot in the past with the spindle grille, 1 foot in the future, because it's like half of the grille is still there for the engine, but the other half has kind of been phased out and molded into the body. And that's what we will see with fully electric cars. The RZ is evidence of that. And what is the relationship of the Yaris Cross? Well, if the UX and the Corolla Cross share the same platform, I think we could see something fairly similar here with the B platform Yaris Cross. They're saying it would even share the same engine. We'll talk about that in the spreadsheet in a little bit, but they would be adding a lot more structural adhesive and more spot welds to increase the rigidity of the vehicle. And we just saw that the UX got some additional spot welds for the 2023 model year refresh to make it a little bit more rigid, as well as additional S-Sport handling package with Yamaha performance stampers. Anyways, and they're saying it will be somewhat similar looking to the Mazda CX-3, which was just canceled here in the United States for the larger CX-30. The infotainment will of course be the new Lexus interface. And sorry for the kids playing the piano in the background if you can hear that. It's just my life. They're saying it will have a heads-up display, but of course, as we see in Lexus vehicles in America, those are typically reserved for only top-end F-Sport packages or top-end luxury packages. Now, will a battery electric version of it be prepared? I think that's a possibility. They don't know for sure, and of course, we don't have a full announcement on this vehicle, but the UX got a fully battery electric version for a few markets. Would we see this come to America? Absolutely not. I would love it, but the hybrid system is sounding pretty good from what we already have in the Yaris Cross across the world. They're saying this new vehicle, I'm just going to call it the BX, don't know what else to call it. So they're saying it'll be released in 2023. And the strong view that it will be world premiered overseas in the same year prior to its release. So what does that mean? Well, potential reveal in 2023. Reveal probably won't happen in the United States. Again, even if this vehicle comes out, it might not come here stateside because B platform vehicles don't come here. But I think there could be an exception to that with the growing gas prices. If they bring this vehicle and it has similar space and size to the UX, but costs $5-7 grand less, I think this vehicle could actually make sense here in the United States. But they're going to reveal it in Europe, just like they did with the Yaris Cross, if this vehicle gets announced anytime soon. Some of the competitors are going to be this Mini, don't cover Mini on the channel, the Audi Q2, don't cover them either, as well as this thing. Can't even tell you what vehicle this is off the top of my head because we don't get it here stateside. This vehicle though, the XC40 says it's a competitor, and the XC40 is quite a bit bigger than the UX already. So yeah, it could be a competitor, but it's definitely a much larger vehicle. And we have the spreadsheet, guys. Spreadsheet for this new BX, whatever we're going to call it. God willing, they bring it here stateside. More options for Lexus in the United States is always a good thing. And this would bring in younger buyers with a price of, I'm just guessing, $27,000 for this all-wheel drive hybrid vehicle. Low gas or high gas efficiency, low gas consumption, and a low entry into this luxury brand would spell success, in my opinion. It would be the return of the CT in a lot of ways, but more practical, more space, better fuel efficiency, etc. So let's look at the Yaris Cross / Lexus BX versus the Lexus UX / Corolla Cross setup. We go from a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder to a 2 liter 4-cylinder. Both hybrid systems are on the screen for you. Both of them are connected to an eCVT. We have 114 horsepower. I could make this bigger. There we go. We have 114 horsepower, the small B platform 3-cylinder, and 181 horsepower on the UX, but we don't know for sure if the 2023 UX is getting a power bump to the 197 horsepower that we see in the Corolla Cross in Europe. We don't have a hybrid Corolla Cross here stateside quite yet, but that's supposed to be coming. That announcement is supposed to be coming probably while I'm in Plano next week would be my idea. And then it's supposed to be on sale by the end of this year in the United States, the Corolla Cross Hybrid. I think is going to be a slam dunk for them. The HRV, which I'm going to be driving here in 2 to 3 weeks, we don't have confirmation on powertrains. We're supposed to be getting the 2 liter naturally aspirated, but it could really benefit from having the all new Civic hybrid system. Anyways, I don't want to get off track here. What's interesting is that the Yaris Cross literally has half the battery size of the Corolla Cross. That makes it lighter, which makes it more efficient as well, and also makes it cheaper. Miles per gallon, at least 57 miles per gallon on this Yaris Cross / Lexus BX, and the Lexus UX gets around 40 miles per gallon. I'm guessing the Corolla Cross Hybrid, when it gets here stateside, is going to have probably around 45 miles per gallon. Since it's a little bit lighter of a vehicle. Cargo capacity, this is to me one of the more interesting things here, is that the UX for its class has terrible cargo capacity. The Yaris Cross, on the other hand, for its class has decent and competitive cargo capacity. So when you look at it, we're looking at 11 cubic feet in the all-wheel drive model for the Yaris Cross / BX versus 14 cubic feet in the all-wheel drive Lexus UX. Not that big of a difference. And then when you put the seats down, it seems like that difference shrinks even more from 38 cubic feet to 42 cubic feet in the larger UX. Again, price needs to be low on this vehicle. It doesn't have much power. There's not much to it, but it would be an awesome entry-level vehicle for Lexus. And Lexus BX200H is what, or whatever, 200H more than likely is what they should name it. Kind of like the CT was the 200H, right? And then they could have an F-Sport performance model dropping in this 181 horsepower setup into it, which would be cool. Would they do it? I highly doubt it. This is Lexus we're talking about, but they would have to put probably a larger battery pack in it. So it's extremely unlikely, but we can dream, right? So I want to ask you this. If this vehicle was available in the United States, let's say it's the BX200H, gets around 55 to 60 miles per gallon, comes in around $27,000, would you buy this vehicle over the Lexus UX 250H that gets 40 miles per gallon, even though it gives you a lot more power? I'm sure it depends on your needs and your driving habits. I'd be happy with the BX, save 5 to 7 grand, and have a very fuel efficient but cool entry-level Lexus vehicle, the BX. The UX is a good car. It's just a little small for its segment. The fuel economy should be better, in my opinion, for that vehicle, and that's where this BX could take its cake. Great fuel economy, low entry of price into the Lexus brand, not only in Europe and Asia, but also here in the United States. What do you think? I'll leave you guys to comment about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made this far in the video, smash the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe for more Asian auto news. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.